This is the Topo Specter 3. We are back in the running store today, and I am super excited to get this on foot for a fit and feel test. We have an all-new aliphatic TPU running through the foam, and that is like all the rage. The ATPUs are just crushing the game right now. We have the same 5mm drop that we know and love from Topo. We have a really lightweight shoe coming in at 7.7 ounces for men or 6.3 ounces for women. We also have a very light price point, which I very much appreciate. A little lower on the stack height than the Mega Blast, but these two shoes give a lot of similarities. So no plate in here, which is totally fine. We don't need plates in everything, but we have a 39mm stack in the heel down to 34 in the forefoot for that normal Topo heel to toe drop. But yeah, this is giving a lot of the ideas of a Mega Blast. We get a little bit wider toe box, and it just looks like we get a little more curvature. That's what I've read from some other reviewers as well, up in the toe to make that rock a little smoother. So let's go ahead and get this on foot for a fit and feel test. I'll tell you about sizing. I'll tell you my first reactions as I run to the back of the store and back, and maybe if this is something you need to add to your own rotation. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and get this on foot for our first fit test. These just arrived in the store. These are actually quite the hot commodity. I've had a couple of people coming in asking if they can just feel and try the shoe. Initial feel is it's actually like I can feel a little squish even as I'm just sitting down here. Obviously, a lot of room up here in the toe box. That is Topo's MO. They want to give more of that anatomical toe box. We do have very, very long laces, but you can always just run it through the back loop here. For now, we're gonna be A-okay. Feels like sizing is gonna be correct just as I'm sitting down here. We'll check in just a second as I get the other shoe on. Okay, so you can see here, my toes here, that's about 3/4 of a thumb. That is about my favorite fit. Same thing on the other side, maybe closer to a half a thumb, but that's a really good fit. Now, as for the squish, you can see lots of bounce feel back here. This is compressing really nicely, and it feels like there's just a really aggressive drop off just at the forefoot of the ball of the foot right here. Feels like it just tips forwards. I think that's going to be really nice when we're actually moving. Let's go ahead and run to the back of the store, just get a general sense of how this is feeling. Well, that is a very interesting sensation. When I was just standing here and I kind of pointed at where that rocker feels like it is, it's almost like almost like a ball under the forefoot where, like, as I'm standing here now that I've run in it, I can feel almost like it dips upwards and then falls off a cliff. It's really unique. I feel like when you get into the run with it, it would feel really nice. It feels a little interesting going a little slower, kind of like here in the store. I actually think that warrants running back and forth one more time to see if I can't get a little smoother transition out of it. I'm sure it will be. Like, I'm excited for this. I just feel like I'm gonna have to get used to how to land on it. Got it. So I think this is going to lean towards forefoot strikers. It almost reminds me of the Nike Alpha Fly, if you've ever worn that, where you can feel those pods in the forefoot of the shoe. These don't have pods the same way, but it feels like if you land far enough up on the shoe, it kind of just rolls you forward, rolls you through. That's what I've said about the Alpha Fly when I've reviewed it, is it feels like if you're landing on the rear part of your foot, you got to really work hard to roll onto those zoom units and then pop off the forefoot. Same kind of deal that I'm feeling here. Whereas like with a Mega Blast, for example, I can heel strike in this. I can have pretty much any strike pattern I want in it, and it just rolls you through your stride really smoothly. Now, this is definitely a shoe I want to take out and do a full review on, so we'll be doing that soon. The upper on this feels pretty lightweight, but really nicely done. It feels more like in line with a Super Blast, which I really liked the upper on this shoe. It feels light, but usable, user-friendly, if you would. I love the Mega Blast. I've been obviously running in this shoe a ton, but the upper on that doesn't feel very nice to me. It just feels like it's a little angry. It feels so race-oriented that it's almost missing the point of it also being a daily trainer. The Specter feels more in line with the Super Blast. The Super Blast is maybe a little nicer upper, but you don't have quite as much space in the toes. So if you need a wider toe box shoe that is lightweight and you can use for some of your faster tempos, this could for sure fill a hole in that piece. Now I do kind of strike at the upper end of my heel towards midfoot, and I'm trying to move it more forwards, but I do generally heel strike, and I'm curious if that is going to be a smooth transition as we get like into a normal run, or if that might just be a segment of people that the shoe isn't going to work as well for. Now, the next piece I like doing here is kind of looking at the wall on the hole and seeing where does this kind of fall into the wall. And usually my first thing I'm going to do on that is look at price points. So what is plus or minus $10? You'd have stuff like the Salomon Aeroglide, Mountacoast C1, you'd have Hoka Clifton Pro, Nike Vomero, you'd have like an Asics Gel Nimbus at the exact same price point. Shoes like that, your nicer, little more premium shoes. And I think this, especially with the weight, absolutely stacks up into this category of shoes. It's for sure going to be more based towards somebody who wants to get out and get running for real, like where running is the main goal of the shoe. Like I know some people will daily and lifestyle wear the Nike Vomero Plus. I don't think you'd really want to do that with this, although I do think this colorway is super sick. Now, different idea with the Mountacoast C1. This feels like your really high cushion, very protective trainer, whereas the Specter is for sure towards that speedier side of things. And then again, while it's not on our wall here, we do carry the Asics Mega Blast, and this feels like the most similar comparison. However, we're talking 170 versus 225 for the Mega Blast. I do think there are merits to the Mega Blast being a just generally better shoe, but if you like a little softer feel, I think that is a lean towards the Specter. And if you need a wider toe box, that is for sure a spot where a Specter is going to take some extra bonus points compared to the Mega Blast. Now, if you do want to take a look at the Specter, we are actually running through our sizes pretty quick, but we have fills already placed for the store. Now, if you want to pick up a pair and support an independent running store, you can go on to our website, mountainrunningcompany.com, and use code JS, like Joe Shariak, YT, YouTube, 10, and you can get 10% off your order. It is for sure worth a pickup if you have a little wider foot, you like a bouncy ride that's not overly mushy soft, and you like having a little bit more of that rocker feel to your shoe. With that said, I hope you guys all have a great day. Do something good for your body. We'll see you guys outside for an outdoor review next.